Have you ever been in a situation where a minor disagreement escalated into something much bigger than expected? Do you think stand your ground, laws protect people, or encourage unnecessary violence? On November 23, 2012, a routine stop at a gas station in Jacksonville, Florida, turned fatal for 17-year-old Jordan Davis. An argument in what seemed like a minor altercation over loud music escalated into a tragic shooting that not only claimed a young life, but also ignited national debates on race relations, gun control, and self-defense laws in America. It also highlighted the deep flaws and divisive nature of Florida's Stand Your Ground law. In this video, we take a closer look at the events leading up to that fateful day, the trial that followed, and the broader societal impact of Jordan Davis' death. Before his life was tragically cut short, Jordan Davis was just like any other teenager, full of life, dreams, and ambition. Born on February 16, 1995 in Atlanta, Georgia, Jordan was raised primarily by his mother, Lucia McBath, a dedicated flight attendant and later a passionate activist. Despite his parents' divorce, Jordan remained close to both his mother and father, Ron Davis, who lived in Jacksonville, Florida. Jordan was a fun-loving, charismatic young man who loved music, sports, particularly basketball, and spending time with friends. He had an infectious laugh, a strong sense of humor, and big dreams for his future. He attended Samuel W. Wolfson High School in Jacksonville, and like many teenagers, he enjoyed driving around with his friends and making memories. He was passionate about music and had aspirations of joining the military after completing his education. But what was supposed to be just another night out on November 23, 2012, turned into a nightmare. Michael David Dunn, born in 1967, was a software developer residing in Satellite Beach, Florida. At the time of the incident, Dunn was 45 years old and had no significant criminal record. He was in a long-term relationship with his fiancée, Rhonda Rower, and was described by acquaintances as a responsible and hardworking individual. On November 23, 2012, Dunn and Rower were in Jacksonville to attend his son's wedding. After the ceremony, they decided to return to their hotel but made a stop at a local gas station, a decision that would have irreversible consequences. At around 7:30 p.m., after celebrating Thanksgiving with his family, Jordan Davis and his friends, Tommy Storns, Leland Brunson, and Tevin Thompson, pulled into a Gate Petroleum gas station in Jacksonville's Southside Boulevard. The teenagers were in high spirits, playing music loudly from their red Dodge Durango as they waited for Storns, who had gone inside the store to grab few snacks. Shortly after, Michael Dunn and Rhonda Rower parked beside the teenagers' SUV. Annoyed by the loud music, Dunn asked the teens to lower the volume. Initially, Tevin Thompson complied, turning the music down. However, Jordan Davis objected, insisting they turn it back up. This led to a verbal exchange between Davis and Dunn. What should have been a simple exchange quickly escalated into a heated confrontation. Claiming he felt threatened during the argument, believing that one of the teenagers had a weapon. In a span of few seconds, Dunn retrieved a handgun from his glove compartment and fired 10 shots into the SUV, striking Jordan Davis multiple times. The unarmed teenagers attempted to flee, but soon realized Jordan had been severely injured. They stopped at a nearby parking lot, where they called for help. Tragically, Jordan Davis was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital.
Right now, we're following breaking news on a teen who was gunned down in Bay Meadows. 17-year-old Jordan Davis was killed Friday. Police say that he got into an argument with another driver at a gas station over the loud music in his car. The suspect, Michael Dunn, was arrested Saturday in Brevard County. He's expected in court this afternoon. Well, JSO just had a news conference releasing some new details on the case. Action News' Lauren Hallaker is live on the action cam with the very latest for us. Lauren?
Yeah, JSO just released new information. They say 45-year-old Michael Dunn was in town for his son's wedding Friday night. He and his girlfriend stopped at a gas station off of Southside Boulevard, and that's when things turned deadly. Now, Dunn was arrested Saturday at his home in Brevard County. He's being charged with shooting and killing 17-year-old Jordan Davis at a Bay Meadows gas station Friday night after an argument over loud music. Police say the confrontation started when Dunn pulled up next to the SUV. He made a comment about the loud music. Police say Jordan responded to his comment and it escalated from there. Dunn then opened fire on the four teens, firing 8 or 9 shots, killing 17-year-old Jordan. No one else in the vehicle was injured.
After the shooting, Michael Dunn and Rhonda Rower returned to their hotel, where they spent the night. Dunn did not contact the authorities. The following morning, upon learning of Jordan Davis's death through the news reports, Dunn was arrested at his home in Satellite Beach. He claimed he has acted in self-defense, alleging that Jordan Davis had threatened him with a weapon, a claim that was later disproven, as no weapon was found in the teenager's vehicle.
What did you believe was about to happen to you?
I thought I was going to be killed.
That was only one of the buzzwords Dunn used to try to convince this jury the shooting was self-defense. He seemed to hit them all.
I was still fighting for my life. I knew I had done nothing wrong. I have every right of self-defense, and I took it.
But prosecutor John Guy would have none of it.
Jordan Davis was never a threat to you, was he, Mr. Dunn?
Absolutely he was.
As soon as his cross-examination began, we were reminded why defense attorneys cringe when their clients take the stand.
This defense echoed the claims made in another controversial case just months earlier, the shooting of Trayvon Martin. Both Trayvon and Jordan were 17-year-old black teenagers. Both were unarmed, and both were killed in Florida by men who claimed self-defense. Trayvon was walking home with a bag of Skittles and a can of iced tea. Jordan was sitting in a car, listening to music with friends. In each case, the shooters, George Zimmerman and Michael Dunn, claimed they felt threatened. And in both instances, Florida's Stand Your Ground law became a central focus of public outrage. These were not isolated incidents. They were reminders of a deeper issue. A society where young black lives are often seen as threats before they are seen as human. The incident shocked the community, quickly gathering national attention, and brought the spotlight back to Florida's controversial Stand Your Ground law, a self-defense statute that allows individuals to use deadly force if they feel their life is in imminent danger, without the obligation to retreat. The trial of Michael Dunn, which began in early 2014, garnered national attention, drawing parallels to other high-profile cases involving unarmed black teenagers. The prosecution argued that Dunn had no justification for his actions. He had initiated the conflict over something as significant as loud music, and there was no weapon on the teenagers that could justify his fear. They highlighted the irrationality of escalating a verbal disagreement into lethal violence. The defense, on the other hand, focused on Dunn's perception of a threat. They invoked Florida's Stand Your Ground law to explain why Dunn felt justification in his action despite the fact that no evidence supported the existence of a weapon in the teenager's car. The case went to a jury, and the nation waited anxiously for the verdict. In February 2014, Michael Dunn was found guilty on 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder, 1 count for each of Jordan's friends inside the car, and the count of firing into an occupied vehicle. However, the jury was deadlocked on the most serious charge, first-degree murder for the death of Jordan Davis. This led to a mistrial on that count.
Explosive partial verdict in the trial of a Florida man who shot an unarmed teenager to death during an argument over loud music. The jury finding the gunman guilty of attempted murder, but they couldn't agree on the murder charge.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of attempted second-degree murder.
The verdict is confusing and ultimately unsatisfying to both sides. Even the protesters weren't sure what to make of it. Defendant Michael Dunn will likely spend the rest of his life in prison, but not for killing Jordan Davis. The jury deadlocked on whether the teen's death was murder or self-defense, as Dunn claimed on the stand.
I thought I was going to be killed.
It's been a long journey.
A mistrial on the murder count left Davis's parents heartbroken again.
And we will continue to wait for justice for Jordan.
The jury convicted the 47-year-old software developer of 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder for shooting at an SUV full of teens at this Jacksonville, Florida gas station in November 2012.
Oh my God, somebody's shooting!
The mother of one of those young men, Leland Brunson, released this statement: "Justice has been served, but it's not complete."
Yes, ma'am.
The state's attorney is already vowing to retry Dunn on that first-degree murder charge. But the fact is, under Florida law, he must serve at least 60 years on those attempted murder charges. He'd be 107 when he got out.
A retrial was held in October 2014, and Dunn was ultimately convicted of first-degree murder for killing Jordan Davis. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 105 years for the attempted murders. While this verdict brought some measure of justice to Jordan's grieving parents, Ron Davis and Lucia McBath, the broader issues remained. The case highlighted racial tensions, as any believed that the teens being African American were unfairly perceived as threats. It also fueled debate about gubernatorial laws, particularly the Stand Your Ground statute, which many argued that gave individuals too much latitude in using deadly force based on subjective feeling of fear. The senseless killing of Jordan Davis deeply affected the Jacksonville community. Vigils, protests, and rallies were held to honor Jordan's memory and to call for justice. In the years following Jordan's death, his parents became prominent activists against gun violence. His mother transformed her grief into advocacy, becoming a prominent voice in the fight for sensible gun control laws. She spoke at rallies, became an activist with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, where she continues her work to create change. Her advocacy led her to a career in politics, and she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2018, representing Georgia's 6th congressional district. The tragic death of Jordan Davis is more than just a story about a young man whose life was taken too soon. It represents the devastating consequences of fear, racial prejudice, and a society grappling with its relationship to guns and self-defense. The Stand Your Ground law, meant to protect those in genuine danger, was thrust into the spotlight as a tool that could potentially justify unnecessary violence. His story has been the subject of documentaries and has inspired ongoing discussions about systemic issues within American society. As we reflect on Jordan's life and the events that led to his untimely passing, we are reminded of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the continuous fight for justice and equality. And let us not forget the power we have as a society to push for change. Jordan Davis's legacy lives on through the efforts of his family, friends, and all those who continue to advocate for a more just and compassionate society. His parents' resilience is a testament to turning grief into action, and their work is paving the way for a future where tragedies can be prevented. Jordan Davis was just a teenager who wanted to listen to his favorite music, a right that should never have cost him his life. Let us honor his memory by striving for a world where such tragedies are no longer a reality. Thank you for joining me on this journey through another case. Remember, the stories we cover aren't just tales of mystery. They are real lives impacted by tragedy. If you found this case insightful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dive into true crime. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, sometimes the darkest places can be closer than we think. Until next time.